Hi everyone, what's up? My name is Mondo and this is episode 49 of Hung Jury Gaming Podcast. Thank you for tuning in. Today is March 16th, 2018, but you're most likely listening in sometime after this coming Monday. If you're new to the show, every week we discuss a gaming issue, the pros and cons, and everything in between. At the conclusion of the discussion, we pass the conversation on to you, the jury, to make a final verdict. Today we'll be discussing Escape From Tarkov. Joining us today to talk about this fantastic game, our co-host Luis. Dude, what's up?
Hello everyone, how's everyone doing?
Man, I'm sure everyone's doing great, especially since we're going to give them like a full synopsis of Escape From Tarkov, so that they should be able to sit down, just relax and listen to us talk about that. Before we begin, as always, guys, there is some housekeeping to be done. Sorry about this, but it has to be done. Please remember to check out our main website, www.hungjurynetwork.com. There you can find all of our latest episodes. You can also subscribe, so do that. Episodes are uploaded every Monday, although timing may depend on the weather. You can also find us on iTunes, Podbean, Google Play Music, Stitcher, and other affiliate podcast services by simply searching Hung Jury Gaming Podcast. If you have something to say, comment, recommendation, hate us, love us, join the jury. That way you can kind of like say what you want by liking our Facebook page and tweeting us at Hung Jury Gaming Podcast. All right. Now let's talk really quickly before we jump into the topic of the day. Let's talk about what we spoke about last week, and that was the Sea of Thieves, like, you know, kind of what we thought, if we thought it was going to be good, bad. The question I asked you guys to answer was whether you're going to pick it up. And phenomenally, kind of like not really that surprised, but a little bit surprised, it was actually 100%. You guys said, yeah, you guys are planning on playing Sea of Thieves. That's kind of cool. I'm like really excited for that. Luis, what do you think about that?
About the launch trailer?
Yeah, no, about the fact that people are like, yeah, they are going to play it.
No, I'm just finally glad that it's happening, man. After seeing the trailer that I saw, we finally get to see the Kraken, and it looks very majestic.
It was like that was dropped like a day ago, the trailer, right? That was pretty cool. It's kind of like crazy, slightly crazy.
No, it's gonna be amazing. I just really hope they have the full Kraken, not just the tentacles. It's gonna be. They didn't show anything under the water. They only saw the tentacles. So I hope they include
I'm kind of worried about that. I'm worried.
Have nightmares?
I'm worried that we're just. Well, I mean, you had the same response when we dropped the anchor. You were like, "Where's the anchor?"
Yeah.
So, well, you know, like I'm kind of like, I really hope it's not just like these, you know, beheaded tentacles that have no body or mouth or anything. But you know what? As much as I want to believe that Rare didn't do it, because I think they did it, they might surprise me. They might surprise us. They've done an excellent job, and Sea of Thieves is good. So Sea of Thieves will be dropping for PC and Xbox One March 20th. That's, if you're listening to this on Monday, it's tomorrow for you guys. So, man, you're closer to the release than we are, and I'm so jealous. Now, for our general update, it's our little segment where we just discuss some real quick news. Super Mario Odyssey, this is a kind of like a not that late update, but just some, you know, updates that have been coming up. So Mario Odyssey has a hide and seek mode, unbeknownst to me. Luis, so what's up with this mode? I know that you're the one who kind of brought up to my attention. I feel really incompetent, the fact that I wasn't even aware of this mode in this game.
Actually, it was under my radar too. The only reason I knew about it was because I see Video Game Donkey, and I'm sure some of the viewers know who that is. And I just saw this hide and seek mode, and what it basically is, it's that one player hides a balloon inside the map, and then the other player has to go find it. And some of these spots are really ridiculous, so it really challenges the player to use Mario's mechanics in order to reach those spots. But like we talked about earlier, there are some glitches on these maps, and that needs to be addressed by Nintendo. I'm not sure if they fixed it yet, but in the video, he was still using some of the glitches, so there's still some out there. But it's a great mode, and I think it's a lot of fun, and I'm glad they added that extra feature in the game of Mario.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I know that it's somewhat like late news in the fact that people have known about this for a while. It's been under the radar for me, and I guess since it's been under the radar for both of us, we might as well just kind of let our audience know, hey, check this out. You might like it. You know, like it might be something that you weren't aware about. Now, this is something that has not been under the radar for me. I think Justin was actually the one that brought it up to me first. He brought it up to both of us, and that is Fortnite's iPhone version. So it's like Fortnite Battle Royale on the iPhone. This is incredible. I'm just mind boggled by the fact that Epic is releasing the game cross-platform over PlayStation, Xbox, PC on the iPhone. And I'm like, holy crap, that's so cool.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I'm like, I can finally like go wherever I want, play Fortnite on my phone, and you know, just enjoy the game. I don't have to carry my laptop around or anything like that, and that's pretty cool. But I know it's by invite only, which is, I know it's kind of weird. You know, like everyone just kind of wants to jump in, but it's, you know, you have to like kind of like register yourself with Epic and then tell them that you want an invite, and then they'll send you an invite when the servers, I guess, allow it. I don't know. So thoughts, dude. Well, what do you think about this, man? Like Fortnite on iPhone.
I'm mixed about it. I think it kind of takes the exclusivity of the game because I don't know. I feel like the game on the PC is more genuine than on the iPhone, and I don't think it's gonna be as fun as the PC. We spoke about, you know, how they included some handicaps. You mentioned that they now the looting is just walking over, right? You can just walk over and pick up weapons.
Yeah, it's by contact. Yeah, it's by contact.
I think I saw that some of the you can see footprints of where people are walking. Like if they're near you, you can see like little footprints like appear on the HUD. Like it will show in the direction of where it is. I guess that's they do it so since the PC players or console players have headsets and better sound, so that it could help out the phone players. That's another thing that I kind of have a gripe with. But I mean, it's free.
Why?
I don't know.
Why? I'm glad. Like this is like we need to discuss this because like I think it's awesome, but I want to know why you think that it's like such a detriment to the gaming society.
There's already a lot of these battle royale games on the phone. There's the Rules of Survival.
I know there are a lot, and they're mostly PUBG clones, right?
Most of them
they're PUBG clones, yeah.
And
but like they feel like it's like they're like copied and pasted. Like I feel like it's the same game with a different name, isn't it? I mean, like there's like Survival Killer
Rules
or
of
something
Survival,
like that,
and
then
there's
like,
another one that
Rules of
really
Survival,
close.
and then
something
you've got
knives, or something with knives, but. My point being is that there's a lot of them on the phone, and I'm
checking it out now. I want to get these names right.
I don't think I would find. I have to play it, but I don't think it's going to be as good as playing on the PC or the PS4. But I mean, I'm glad it's there. There's going to be more servers, more people playing together. That's
Rules
good.
of Survival. So yeah, it's Rules of Survival. Knives Out.
Knives Out. Those two are almost like PUBG replicas, but not even close.
Yeah, they're copied and pasted.
They have the whole concept of the tiers of loot too, like the backpacks, 1, 2, and 3, as well as the armor and helmets being 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah, like level 1, level 2,
they have
level
cars
3,
too,
and then like.
So,
I think, you know, it's kind of bewildering. Have you played any of these?
I actually played
like
Rules of Survival. It wasn't that bad. It's pretty cool.
No?
You actually get to aim down the scopes. You can attach scopes to weapons. There's cars too. We're not sponsored by Rules of Survival, by the way.
I'm downloading it right now. Yeah, no, by no means are we affiliated to a Chinese company that is making PUBG clones on iPhone. I'm excited, I guess. Okay, so to kind of like contrast your thoughts on PUBG, I think it's a great thing. I know that a lot of people are a little hesitant to even consider mobile gaming like gaming. You know, it's people are like, it's so casual that I mean, it's not really like it can't possibly be. It can't be a competitive part of gaming when you've got PC, and then even, I mean, let's be honest, people who play on console, there's a huge feud of whether console is competitive gaming versus PC competitive gaming, and then you bring in mobile gaming into the mix, and it seems like a clear, like a clear answer. It's like, you can't possibly be competitive on mobile gaming. There are a few exceptions. You got like Hearthstone, which is like the card game, and that really doesn't change.
But that works well with Fortnite.
Mobile.
I feel like it's you lose a lot of the fast-paced movement that you have with the console and the PC. That it feels like it'll be like a downgraded type of a gameplay for me. And it's great if you're waiting in line or like at a dentist appointment or something like that. And it's great, but it's just I feel like I would wish like I was just actually sitting in my house just playing the actual game. You know, like it is the game, but like, you know, with the full-blown experience of the game. You get me? But they're doing a good job because they're just branching out to every person possible, at the moment that they can jump in and play the game. So that's a good thing. Also, it's bringing more money into the company every time that anyone's able to play. So good job on them. I'm glad that more people are going in.
I can't seem to find confirmation on this. I'm searching up right now, but I'm curious to know if you can play the game under your account, the same account that you play on PC and PlayStation and Xbox, only because it would be really cool if I could jump into the Fortnite mobile version. So it is the same game. I just want to know if you can play on that version, because I want to be able to like keep my my stuff. Like I have like the battle pass.
Well, you do have the PS4,
Fortnite.
right? You have the PS4.
I pay about I got the PlayStation 4, and I pay like the like that $10 like upgrade to like always have the battle pass, because like I do like to play it. It's just I always feel like if I really don't pay for the game at all, so $10 for a battle pass is not really much.
See, because I'm on PC and I have the Epic Games launcher, and when my brother wanted to play with me on PS4. He was like, add me. And I couldn't add him because apparently, the Epic Games launcher didn't, like the PS4 apparently is a different system than the Epic Games launcher. So what we have to do in order for me to play with him is he needs to download the application on the PS4. And then through that, he would be able to add me. So I'm wondering if I ever got a PS4, would I be able to transfer my Epic Games account onto there? Or would I have to create a whole new character?
As long as you didn't do it on Xbox. So yes, so I have a PlayStation 4 and I have Fortnite on the PC. The cool thing about this is that if you buy the game once, you have it for both console and PC. And I say buy the game because
of the PvE.
I bought the game on PvE. So for me, when I first played, I played Fortnite before the Battle Royale mode came out. So when I bought it, I got access to it on PC, and then I was able to download it on PlayStation. What I understand from this experience is that your accounts carry over. I mean, you can play on PlayStation. So when I play on PC Battle Royale, I have all of the loot, like the stuff that I get, like the customization stuff that I have on PlayStation. So if you haven't, but here's the kicker: you can only attach your Epic Games, and I may be wrong, guys. Seriously, if I'm wrong, comment on, if you're listening to iTunes, comment, just let me know, or tweet us. I'm pretty sure you can only connect your Fortnite account, your Epic Games account, to either an Xbox or a PlayStation. So if you connect your account on Xbox, right, and then you connect it to PC, you're kind of stuck with that dichotomy. If you connect to PlayStation and you connect to PC, you kind of stuck on that. You can't switch then over to Xbox. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so
like that's kind of like
so if you start on PC, you have the range of going into the consoles, but if you go into consoles, you can't go into PC.
If you start on the console, like let's say you start on PlayStation, you can go to PC, but you can't go to Xbox.
Oh, okay.
You can only go to PC, and then you're stuck with your account being tied from PC to PlayStation. You can never jump that account to Xbox. If you do Xbox to PC, you're stuck on Xbox to PC. You can't jump to PlayStation. If you're on PC, you have that one ultimate option to either share your account to Xbox or share your account to PlayStation.
Why can't these two
if you do one or the other, as long as it's pretty much PC is like the Sweden, it's like the neutral one, and then you can you choose which console you want to attach your account with. But here's the cool thing: if it's free, you can technically create two accounts, because obviously Battle Royale is free, so you can create two Epic Games accounts, and then just attach the two different ones. So if you're playing with people from Xbox, you have your Xbox Epic Games account. Does that make sense? Like it's free, so you can create two accounts for that. Whereas if you're playing the PvE version, you'd have to pay the $40, and that's where it gets kind of hazy, because I wouldn't pay $40. I did it back in the day, but I wouldn't pay it now. I mean, Battle Royale is where it's at anyways. But yeah, so I'm excited for the iOS app. I registered. I'm excitingly waiting for my email for me to get access to it. And if I ever do, and I get a friend code, depending on how many I get, Luis, you'll be probably the first one to get it, and then I'll send it over to the group at the Facebook page. So kind of like a little perk if you're on the Facebook page. I'm just literally going to post a code on the Facebook page, and then whoever gets it first gets it first. And then if I get a third code, I'll probably put it in the link description below. So that's kind of like a little perk. If you're listening to this and you happen to know that these codes are going around, check the description below and it'll be there. So, first come, first serve on that. So that's pretty cool. Let me see anything else that we need to talk about Fortnite iOS. You nailed it, everything, man. You got the control change so you can run over things, pick them up like that. And then you also, for those of you who play on a bus or something and you don't have your headphones with you, there are like acoustic signals that they put you, like they're visual. Mm-hmm. So that way you don't have to like worry about missing people's footsteps or anything like that, because it will tell you visually. It's honestly, Lewis, you called it a handicap. That's pretty much exactly what it is. It's a handicap. They're trying to kind of get people on playing grounds with console and PC. Yep. So that makes sense.
That was interesting to see how they did it, because it was we were thinking like, how are they going to do it? It's
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I have no clue.
How are they going to do against the master race,
Yeah. So I'm pretty honestly, I'm excited for that. I am really excited. And Lewis, hopefully I'll kind of put you in there and you can try.
Mondo, you mentioned something about the PvE being $40 when you purchased it. Now, I don't know much about the PvE, and I know this is long overdue. I'm not a Fortnite guy. Like, I never heard about Fortnite until the Battle Royale came out. Yeah, it was way under the radar. I think for a lot of people too. And most people don't play the PvE, but in relation to the $40 price and gameplay, replayability, is it worth the $40 or like, tell me a little bit more about the PvE.
So here's the issue with the PvE version, or what we can just call it Fortnite. So instead of Fortnite Battle Royale, it's just the Fortnite. The issue is that they since the beginning, since the inception, since the release of the game in early access, technically, what they've said is that it will be free eventually. It's going to be a free game. Okay. So Battle Royale is the kind of like the expansion of Fortnite to where Epic Games wanted to take it. They wanted to take it, free to play. Fortnite remains not free to play. I'm pretty sure it's not free to play. You still need to kind of buy the game package. Why it's not worth it is because they will eventually make it free. Why it would be worth it, now it's pretty much Battle Royale. PvE, it's like, okay, I'll give you an example. It's a horde mode. You you get thrown into a map, right? And then you have to kind of like move. You have to like coordinate with your co-op friends, the people you've match made with, to kind of like protect objectives from hordes of these zombies that look like they were copied and pasted from what was it, Plants vs Zombies or something like that. They're very cartoonish.
I'm on the website right now. Yeah. PV campaign pack, standard edition 40, deluxe edition 60,
we go.
Deluxe edition 90, and the limited edition $150. Wow. So
I'm not sure if I picked up the 40 or the 60 at the moment. I think it was like in the summer. I was like, you know what? Let me just pick it up. It's probably a full priced game, but it came with like perks for it. Those perks actually did end up carrying over and helping with Battle Royale, because they do give you like in-game currency. Nice. So you do get in-game currency that you would have paid for. So I ended up getting a Season 2 Battle Pass with that. So that's not bad. I didn't end up using the currency before. That's why I still had it. The actual PvE it's not bad. It's a very well built game. It's very optimized. It has a lot of features and skill trees and stuff like that. And it is a PvE mode, but it's PvE with co-op. So you can definitely jump in with a friend, or I think it's like up to 4, and like kind of play. So it is fun, and it might be worth the money if you have friends who play it. Unfortunately, I just don't know anybody else who plays it. So I kind of just jumped in just to kind of like get my hands wet, because I knew it wasn't going to be free to play for a long time. So I was like, might as well just dunk myself in now. But yeah, I think that if you're interested in it, if you've done your research and you look through it and you're like, hey, you know what? It plays just like the Battle Royale. So if you play the character in Battle Royale, it plays just like that. Nothing's changed. No mechanics changed. You pick up the weapons the way you pick them up. You build the way you build. In fact, the building is a crazy mechanic. It's probably like the centerfold, the foundation of the game. The building mechanic is what it is, because it's horde mode. You have to build a fort, with defenses and turrets and and towers and stairs and stuff like that, and with different variety of quality walls and stuff like that. So you're trying to hold these zombies out of an objective, of them destroying an objective. So it can be quite difficult, by the way, playing the game. It could be they're very difficult, but it's a very cool experience. So yeah, guys, if you're interested in that, by all means, jump into that. But if you're just enjoying Battle Royale and you just enjoy the Battle Royale mode, don't really look too much into the PvE. You're not going to find more Fortnite in there beyond whatever is already been in the PvE. So just keep that in mind. Luis, any last things to talk about before we jump into the main topic of the evening?
No, you clarified everything. I just wanted to have some more elaborate details on that because when people think about Fortnite, people just think about, the Battle Royale. They don't even know that the other portion exists. I mean, some do, but I'm just saying, overall, there's another part.
It really goes to Epic Games, man. It really goes to Epic Games. They got a game that was relatively quiet, really not making a lot of traction, and Battle Royale's just blown it out of the water. I mean, let's be honest. They closed Paragon. Like the game Paragons, they closed it. It's closing in April.
Really? Wow.
And
my friend really liked that
Paragon's
game.
out, man. Yeah, a lot of people liked it.
The servers they're empty.
A lot of people are very upset.
What is it?
No, they're closing servers in April, so the game is still up. But I obviously would never recommend anyone jumping into a game that's dead. It's a dead game. I mean, it's just going to die like in a month.
It's such a shame too.
Possibly less.
It's such a shame too because that game was very visually like pleasing. It was the most like graphically realistic of all the MOBA types. Compared to Smite, it was like playing PS4 to like PS2 graphics. But it felt very barren to me though. Like I felt like there was too much openness and it lacked something for me. And I feel like people felt the same way about it, and that's why it lost a lot of traction.
Yeah, I think the majority of gamers actually preferred Smite over the graphical improvements that Paragon had. They definitely preferred Smite. I think that for whatever reason, dude, I played both of them for like not very much. I mean, I played like probably maybe no more than like 5 hours of each, and I can say that I don't really know if any of them were my tea, but I can say that Paragon was a very clean cut game. I just don't. It was missing some spice. It was missing something. It needed a little more cowbell, right? It just needed a little more cowbell. Yeah, and for whatever reason, the devs, Epic Games, just was like, nah, you know what? It's not making enough money. They are returning all of the money made, through the game back to whoever purchased.
What?
Like,
really?
Currency packs or whatever. Yeah, which is pretty cool.
I feel like we're branching off into another topic, but
people are saying interesting. People are saying that's not enough. Yeah, I mean, it's something that people don't talk about because when a game dies, you'll always get like that group of people that are like, oh, that game sucked anyways, because every game sucks for everyone. Have you realized that? Like, people just hate games. I mean, I don't know. I've never actually gone on. I'm saying this with a caveat because Paragon has a very, very niche community that is very vocal. But that's what I was expecting. I was expecting people to be like, yeah, it sucked. Like nobody wants to play that piece of shit. And then I go on to the forums, Paragon forums, and I was like, holy shit, there's a lot of people who love this game. Like people were like upset at Epic Games, not because the game sucked, but because they were playing the game, they had invested so much time into it, and Epic Games was shutting it down. So I was like, wow, that's insane.
I think it was partly due. Well, for me, it was because I just felt it was too open, and I didn't feel like a lot of intensity when I played like the in the fights. Like it didn't have like the same like effect that League does for me or like Dota does for me. Like I like those perspectives of the game, like that top-down perspective. To me, that's how I like to play my MOBAs. But besides that, I felt like it was also the card system, and I felt really it was too eccentric for me, like exotic for me, and I was like, this is not how I want my MOBA to be played. But other than that, it ran smooth. It was really nice, and well, sorry to you guys that like Paragon. What a run!
Our a moment of silence for our fellow Paragonians. I feel bad for you guys. I would have the same reaction with, like, for example, I mean, I haven't played this game in a while. I actually played a few seconds today because Zur was there. He releases gear every week. So, but Destiny 2, if Bungie were ever to close Destiny 2, even though I don't play it as much as I played Destiny 1, I'd still feel a little sad. I'd be like, no, please don't, like, what do you need? Can we start a Kickfunder, or Kickstarter, GoFundMe account? Yeah, whatever you need, we'll make it happen. And I completely think the game is in need of a revival. The game is not in a good position right now. The franchise is not in a good position, but I still think that it has potential. And I think that's what people who played Paragon thought. They thought that if it stuck around for a bit, it had potential. It had the possibility of maybe blooming into something better, but we'll never know. All right, so guys, let's talk about Escape from Tarkov. So for those of you who are not aware of this fantastic game, it is, Louis, what do you think? Like a hardcore game, right? Like it's like hardcore, right? Like it's like probably I think I saw a forum saying it was ultra hardcore.
Really? I looked in the dictionary, I looked up hardcore and I saw the picture of the game.
Yeah. So this is what we could say I would hate. It's not early access. It's like closed beta. Really, because when you think about it, it's beta. Yeah, it's beta. And the developer Battle State. It's like a Russian developer actually. Kind of cool. They've pretty much gone out and set a goal for themselves, and that is, how can we make the most hardcore game possible with the most realistic gun mechanics we could make, and have people enjoy the game, and yet hate themselves. And that's exactly what this game is. Escape from Tarkov. Louis, this game is just, I don't think we've ever played as much online together as this game. This game has kind of bonded us on an online level. Because we hang out in person all the time, but this game is just no, we got to log in. We got to play this game. We have to play this game. For those of you who are not aware of exactly what this game's about, we've been talking about this game on and off for a few episodes, and this is kind of like our dedicated episodes about Escape from Tarkov. It's pretty much a game where the whole point of the game, I mean, up until now, it's just to loot. You want to get the best guns out there. You want to get the best accessories, the best armor. But the weird way is that the only way for you to do that is either through buying it through a series of vendors that's in-game, or by going into these raids, as they call them. There's about 4 maps available for players to jump in and kind of kill people, other players or AI, and pick up their loot. So it's kind of reminiscent to a PUBG mechanic where it is permadeath. If you die in the map, you are done for that round. You're done. You're gone. Go back to the lobby, have some coffee, punch a wall or something, because everything you died with goes to either the Nether or it goes to another player who picked it up. If you insured it, which is a mechanic in the game, which I think is hilarious, if nobody picks it up, it doesn't go into the Nether. It goes straight back to you. Why is the game so hardcore? Because you need to really know your shit, man, right?
No, yeah.
You got to know your shit.
You need to read up on it before you go in. It doesn't hold your hand.
Yeah. No, not at all,
man. There's
no
tutorial. I mean, not at least now. There's no shooting range for you to practice shooting. There is nothing of that sort. It just throws you in there as if it was the post-apocalyptic world right now, and it's either do or die. So,
yeah, man.
It's hardcore.
And the guns they fire, dude, the guns, they're not how when you play Call of Duty, or you play these games that are really fine-tuned weapons. I mean, these guns are firing perfect. Yep. I mean, you fire your gun and you know exactly where that laser bullet is going to hit. This is firing. I think the other day I kind of described it as like you are actually firing a piece of metal that was just stamped together and formed into this weapon, and then that piece of metal fires a bullet using gunpowder. It feels so mechanical.
That's called the gun, Mandy. It's called the gun.
Yeah, but
it feels like a gun.
But it feels
like a gun.
It could fail. It could fire everywhere if you didn't control it. The bullets are not really reliable. It's not it just kind of so many things are going on. Yeah, dude, Louis. So what are your thoughts on when you first jumped into the game? Because I know that I was just whoa. Were you overwhelmed?
I'm still overwhelmed, man. You can't get over. It's overwhelming. I play it often. I mean, I'm a level 9. and I see people in the lobby and they're high levels, but
yeah,
it's very nerve-wracking because you go in and you can die within seconds. There's people that know the spawn points already. There's people that know how to hear everything perfectly, and they just by the footstep differentiation, if you step on a piece of wood and then you step on a piece of on a metal stairs, they would know where you are just because of how they memorize the map. And it's stuff like that. And the game, you have to be trained in it, and like you need to constantly be playing it to get more experience. That it really distincts who is the skilled player and who isn't. And you know who it is based on their loot and based on how good you die, and not how good you die, but like how fast you die and of that sort. I still die every like 5 minutes in. I only last like 10 minutes most sometimes. Go in and out. That's what I do to get the money. But yeah, the guns do have a lot of kick to it. I saw a funny post yesterday that it was showing like the guns, how they work in Battlefield and Call of Duty, which is like a straight line. Battlefield has a drop. Like PUBG has like it goes slightly a little drop, and then it's Escape From Tarkov. It's a squiggly line everywhere, because in reality that's how guns
it feels like it. Yeah, it feels like it.
Now, I haven't played Arma 2 or 3. I heard that game is also realistic, but to give this game credit, not only do the guns function like a real gun, but you have to maintain it as if it was a real gun. Some guns you find that they're already like broken. They don't have the receiver. They don't have a mount. They don't have a muzzle. These are things that you gotta find in these vendors, and you gotta make sure that you have the right pieces. You can buy the wrong piece, and then when you go to put in the gun, guess what? It's not the right piece. You gotta go and buy another one.
Such a bad experience. It is. You just dropped like 6,000 rubles on like something that you thought was gonna be super cool.
It is.
And you try to plug it in, it's like not compatible. You're like, damn it.
No.
And then you try to sell it back to like Propor or something, and you're like getting like half the price. You're like, no, please don't.
And they also have the simulation, like if you were actually with the vendor right in front of you, you actually have to examine stuff in the store. It'll be silhouetted, and you have to be like, what's this? Like there's a shadow on it. You have to right click it and examine it. And you actually have to wait and examine the piece. So it's like if you're actually going into a store and like picking up the item, like, oh, this is what I needed for my gun, And I just find the whole concept of the insurance and the fact that you can actually insure weapons is kind of funny. I mean, not funny, but
isn't it hilarious?
It's funny. It's funny that there's like a squad that goes out and finds your loot and brings it back to you. It's cool, because if you have an M4, the M4 is very expensive in the game. By the way, it's a baby. You don't want to lose that.
No, you don't.
That's a gun that you would insure, but you find these Russian weapons that usually are cheaper, and there's a strategy to it, and it's pretty cool. But like I said, there is no holding hands here. You got to figure it out as it goes. And to sum it up, it is the Dark Souls of FPS, and they're doing more development. They're optimizing the game. I have a computer that is a little bit outdated. I have 8 gigs of RAM. I have an i5 Intel CPU processor. And before I was having issues running the maps, but now I go in and I run smooth as butter.
Dude,
so good job.
And and it's a game that doesn't seem like it would run smooth. I mean, when you play
it's
it,
graphically,
you're like, wow, this game.
It looks graphically heavy.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it would take a bunch of like it does take a chunk of RAM out. And funny enough, PUBG lagged a little bit before the new update. They optimized it more, but PUBG was running a bit slower than this game was before the optimization as well. And good job on that optimization. It's just working out.
Yeah,
they're doing good shit.
I think the only time that we really ever have FPS drops are like on the bigger maps. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not unplayable for me, but it's a little annoying. You get a little bit of a stutter here and there. So like customs and woods, those tend to be a little more shoreline sometimes. Those tend to be a little more, I guess, like CPU intensive. Potentially RAM intensive if like the game's taking up too much RAM. The RAM optimization is something that they're going to need to fix. I know that a lot of games, when they're in this like stage of development, that's probably the last thing they're looking at, because when you optimize that, that's you're kind of like picking up the pieces. Kind of like when you're cleaning the floor after the construction. You don't want to clean the floor.
There's a lot more to be done before that optimization is put into place. So.
I'm extremely surprised with the way the game plays. Luis, you know that when I used to play PUBG with you, and I was like horrible at it. Like I sucked real bad.
No,
and then I
you
jumped into
didn't. You
Escape
were
from
good.
Tarkov. I did, man. Oh my god. If I could hit somebody, it was like a really good day. Like if I could hit somebody, not kill them, but I could hit somebody. And I remember like jumping into Escape from Tarkov, and I liked the whole loot system so much, and that's something that I think differentiates why I like Escape from Tarkov so much more than I like PUBG. And I'll still play PUBG. You know, like we kind of like do this thing where we'll jump from game to game. But I like Escape from Tarkov because like those moments of intensity where you jump into a game, you jump into a raid or a match, and you have one hell of a game, and you've got like loot to kind of like remind you of that. You know, I know that we both of us have like guns in our stash that we hold dear to us only because of like the memory we have of getting that weapon. You know, like I know that we were on that customs map, Luis, and you were like, dude, there was a guy completely decked out, and you looted him, and he was like pretty much packing heat, man.
That guardian angel that spawned in front of me and gave me those 3 weapons.
Yeah. Yep. And you're probably never ever going to jump back into a match with any of those.
No, not for a while.
But it's, you know, I like that. You know, I like that system. There's also like a skill tree too, which is kind of at this point for me a little wonky, because I don't necessarily, I have to like Google it and learn a little more about it, but you have to do certain like things. It runs like in that Skyrim system where it's not necessarily doing quests and leveling up. It's more of just like doing things. So if you want to level up strength, for example, which will increase your ability to carry things and increase, I think it's your stamina over time. I think it's one of the other, because endurance also helps in that.
Or strength?
Yeah, because
I mean, strength allows you to like fall from higher places and not take damage.
Yes, without taking damage. But the way you level those up, I think it's not just like doing things. Like you actually have to like jump off. Like I think so carrying more than you can. So you know that there's a weight limit to your character. If you carry more than what your character can carry, so if you overweigh yourself, I guess, you actually increase your strength level. You level it up more. I think sprinting helps in endurance. Gunplay helps in like mastering particular weapons, so that's pretty cool. So that's kind of cool. I like that. I like that system, and I think that for the most part, I'm excited for that. I'm excited to kind of jump into that more, because right now I'm only kind of leveling up the vendors and stuff like that. But I think the strength of the game lies in those tense moments, dude. I mean, how many times have we been playing and we die and we kind of like virtually look at each other on Discord, and we're like, dude, like that match, man, like it just like a part of you's like, if you survived it, it's like a complete level of success that you don't feel unless, because you do get that level of success, the feeling on PUBG, but in this one it's like you also you carry things with you, like you've got that loot, you've got more than just the feeling of success. You actually feel accomplished. You feel like productive, like you got stuff out of it. And dude, surviving some of those matches, like if we haven't really been able to survive a one-on-one with like what people call like those like the heavies,
forts,
like the ones that
forts.
Like, yeah. Well, we can't. I mean, we haven't really gone up to one. I think maybe like I backstabbed one of them, but those are tough people.
Mm-hmm. No, they're
tough.
That's when you're getting your skill level up there.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to say that it's a game that when we started out, it was like playing Amnesia, kind of. It was very scary.
It was, yeah, horror game style.
You know, when you go in and you have the thought that like I have to live, I have to take this loot, I have to get it. I remember when I played PUBG, the first time I played the game, like the couple of first games, I was like so tense because I was like, oh, I really want to get that chicken dinner. I really want to get that chicken dinner. But once you keep going through it, and you keep getting to the top tiers and the first places, It loses the magic a little bit, but it becomes more fun because you know what you're doing. Your skill level's going up. That's how Escape from Tarkov feels with me. I know that's how you feel with it right now, and I know that type of mentality has transferred on over to PUBG because you were also a little bit tense and telling me, hey, Luis, what are you looking at? What are you looking like? I'm like, there's people right here, and you didn't know because it's just a skill over time that you acquire from playing a game over and over and over again, and you become more desensitized to those emotions and that uncertainty of what to do next. So with Escape from Tarkov, it's you can really see how your abilities become better over time, and you know what you're doing. You're going straight to a body. You know what you're looking for. You know what you wanted to get out, how to want to get out. You know how to survive. You know how to listen better for footsteps. You know how to put yourself in a better surviving scenario. Now, the way the game shines is when you're struggling, when you have no more first aids, when you have no more bandages, nothing that can help you out, and your legs are completely discombobulated. You can no longer run, and you just have a bunch of loot that you got, and you know that that's worth more than 60,000 rubles, and you're almost there to the door, and you hear like one of those forts coming at you. You hear a fort shooting another scav in there, and that's when your heart starts pumping, and that's one of the beautiful moments that I like about the game.
Yeah, man. I totally agree with you that some of the best moments in that game is when shit goes wrong. Mm-hmm. I mean, and it's not that it's the best moment in the sense like that's what you're looking for. You're never looking for that to happen. But it's the moment in the game where you're like, you know, there's consequences. You know, like a lot of these games, especially modern day games, because I used to play on like a Nintendo 64 where like sometimes you couldn't save. You know, like I didn't have like
the Rumble Pack.
You know, I didn't have like I didn't have any of those stuff when I was a kid, so I was like replaying, you know, some of those games like Rayman and stuff like that, like right. from start. Yeah,
Turok is one of them.
Obviously,
great game.
Oh man, that game. Oof, memories. But the thing is that a lot of modern games will like they'll kind of like hold your hand a little bit, auto save, stuff like that. With this game, every time you jump into a map, there is no save. It's just you either die and lose what you have with you, or you succeed and you either carry out whatever you brought in with you, minus any bullets you used, or you carry out more things that you came in with. You know, you probably looted stuff, and that's really cool. I think that's kind of like the crux of the game. Like that's pretty much what sums it up for me. You know, it's just that moment of like do or die. That's it. You know, like and. I know a lot of people are going to be like, well, dude, that's like the Battle Royale genre. Not really, because the Battle Royale genre, you go in 0, you know, you go in with nothing. And
it's simplified. It's super simple.
It's more of like a everyone's on even ground. And I get that. Yeah. And that's a genre in of itself. You know, I'm not going to compare whatever Escape from Tarkov is, which is its own genre at this point.
For the viewers that don't know much about, you know, Escape from Tarkov or just hearing it now, I'm sure you guys have at least heard of Metal Gear and know how it plays out. But Metal Gear Solid, there's the concept of actually drinking water, you know, eating food, actually bandaging up your... I know Metal Gear 3 had it on PS2. You have to bandage like your wounds, and you have to like repair your broken bones. That concept is happening real time online in Escape from Tarkov all the time. And if you get slashed with a hatchet or a bullet enters your stomach, you're gonna start becoming more dehydrated, and your health depletes over time. And when you see that happens, that's when the adrenaline starts pumping. But it's those types of concepts and the missions that you get from vendors that add a whole bunch of like varieties and way to play the game that it's just another FPS does not have at this moment. And I feel that when they expand the world into like that full-fledged, you know, open world space, because right now we're only limited to 4 maps.
That's gonna be mayhem,
right? No, that's gonna be fantastic because raids are gonna last hours if you're really good. Like you're gonna be going Rambo, and you're gonna be just looting and getting XP from all the people that you kill.
You'll start as a hatchling. You'll start as a hatchling in one raid and end like
Rambo,
a Twitch streamer
for sure. Yeah, for sure. And that's gonna be cool because I'm looking forward to that. Definitely need to get more RAM for that, but I'm saying it's going to bring a whole new concept because it's going to be the size of Tarkov. It's the whole it's Tarkov, the whole city,
Yeah.
and some of the maps are huge already. So I want to see how it plays out. That you'll be able to go into the factory, you'll be able to go into the woods, you'll be able to go into customs, you'll be able to go into shoreline, and you'll be able to go into all these other places that I hope they add like more buildings, more like apartments, stuff like that. Would be pretty cool to see. That it's gonna be pretty cool to see like these YouTubers that are really good and see how they play and how the whole world comes together with the missions, with the survival aspects, and these dangerous players out there. That's just gonna bring more people in, and hopefully they like it too. And we'll see.
Absolutely.
I will definitely want to play when it comes out.
We've talked about the strengths. Let's talk a little bit about our, I would say, criticisms of the game. I think no game is free of negatives. Every game has its pros, and I think Escape from Tarkov has a lot of it. I wouldn't have dumped as much money into this game as I would have if it wasn't a fun game. However, let's start first with the pre-order packages, and this is kind of probably my biggest beef with this. This is more of a administrative issue because I get the devs are trying to make money from the pre-order system because closed beta and stuff. But I'm not a fan of how they're doing it. Primarily, they have 4 different pre-order packages, starting from the most basic, I think is $40 or $45. That will only get you a normal size stash, which I'm going to kind of describe right now. And it gives you just kind of basic gear. The gear itself doesn't matter. Whatever you get in gear doesn't matter. There are 2 things in the game that really do matter, and this will change the way you play the game, and it'll change the way you experience the difficulty of the game. And these are your containers and your stash. So for those of you who are not aware of what these are, the stash is kind of like your vault, your inventory that you have not on yourself but like in the game. So all of the inventory that you can carry, that you can have saved up in the game, that's your stash. Okay. As for your own character, you have like things like vests that you can put on to increase the amount of stuff you can carry. That's all standard no matter what across the game. As long as you're leveling up and you're playing the game, you're going to be getting better gear, and that'll improve the ability of things for you to carry in game. However, there's something called the container. Now, this thing we haven't brought up in the entire podcast, and this is kind of like a little bit of like a loophole in the game. It's an intended loophole, kind of to give you like a free ticket. And what it is that the container starts off as I think it's like 2x2, so it's like a 4 cell. That's how they count inventory. And what it is, anything that goes into your container, it's on you, it's on your person. Anything that goes in there stays with you even after death. So if you die, everything outside of your container, any guns, any bullets, any armor, gear, headsets, anything like that goes away. It drops on your body. Anybody can come pick it up, take it from you, or it just disappears. Everything but that's in the container.
Yeah, but with everything,
Yeah.
yeah, but I don't want the viewers, the listeners, sorry, I keep thinking viewers, the listeners to think that the container is big. It's super small, especially the beginning
it's
one.
not.
It has only 4 squares, and it only expands to like 8 or 6 units afterwards. And you have it's called the gamma container.
It expands to 9. To the gamma container expands to 9.
And
yeah,
that's basically practically nothing. It could fit a gun. The gamma could fit a gun, but
a pistol. The gamma can.
The gamma
can fit a folded
weapon,
an AK-74U folded. Yeah, and probably only that. Maybe that and like a row of 3. Pistol's like 2x2, 1x2. I'm sorry. So a pistol you could probably fit 2 pistols into your alpha container. Which
with the one that I have, which is the basic one, you can fit a pistol. Just one.
Okay, just one.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So
which is,
for the most, and if you're carrying any maps with you, you don't want to put those maps on your person. You want to put them in your container. So here's my gripe. I love the container system. I love the stash system. I think that the idea of the stash is good. However, here's where my gripe starts coming in. If you buy the standard edition at $45, right, you only get a 2x2 alpha container, okay, and your stash is a 10x23. To give you guys an idea, I think like an AK-74N, which is a longer version of the U, probably, I think some come with like just standard stock, so you can't fold them, is I think roughly something like 2, so 2 rows, or you can rotate them, but just it's 2 by like 4 or 5, so 2 by 4. So you can't obviously fit that in your alpha container, and if your basic stash is 10 by 23, you've already lost 2 rows out of that 23. Mm-hmm. So you're already at 10 by 20, 10 by 21 left on your stash. That's all good and dandy. You're probably like, Mondo, what the hell's wrong with you? Just, that's the way the game plays. Except you can increase the size of your stash if you upgrade to a better package. So the more you pay outside of the game in real currency, the bigger your stash gets. And this can increase up to almost 3 times the size of what you have now. The largest one, which is the package Edge of Darkness, which I think is worth like $150, is 10 by 63. Okay, it's 10 by 63. And this is what Lewis was talking about earlier. You get a gamma container. So this is the only package that comes with it. You can definitely buy the gamma container. Is a little bit of it's like in limbo because you can buy that one in game, but I'm kind of giving you the fact that most people will probably either stop playing. You gotta be in the game to get the gamma container. It's kind of expensive, and you have to level up vendors. It's not an easy road to get to. The gamma container gets increased to I think a 3 by 3. So it's a 3 by 3. So it's a 9 squared one, which is a huge help in game because you're pretty much your hatchet runs, which is when you run in with nothing but a knife. You're pretty much just stacking everything you can in there. You can stack in like a few pistols. You can stack in a few accessories.
The essentials, basically.
Yeah. And then, it makes hatchet runs easier, but then it's a little bit not fair. For people who just dumped in $45, which I think is a fair price for this game. I think 150 was way too much. To talk about
that one, I think that it's the game is it has RPG elements. Well, not RPG. I don't know if I'm saying.
Yeah. No, it does.
It has RPG
elements. The skill level, exactly. You level up skills, and
and your character increases over time with some aspects, and the strength and endurance and all of that. And charisma for talking to vendors and buying stuff from vendors, which benefits you in the end because the more you buy from a vendor, the more items you get later on. And it also serves as replayability, so you can advance in the game. And it makes you feel good. It gives the players that dopamine rush. But I wanted to add on to the thing about the stash. I hope people don't think it's a pay to win game. Definitely is not. You could be a person that came straight into the game and completely wipe out someone that has all these advanced weapons and
I agree with you.
And that's it.
Yeah.
Not to mention also that the developers have said, I don't know yet, but I do know that you are able to increase your stash size over time. So what the money does, the real world currency does at the moment is just to give you an edge just in monetary wise, because you'll be able to get more rubles if you have more space in your stash in order to sell more when you're a scav. Because like what you said with the basic stash size, it could get filled up pretty quickly, especially if you become a good player over very quickly. You'll be struggling. Okay, what do I do with this gun now? I want to keep this gun. I can't keep this gun because there's no space. And when you go on a scav run or a PMC run, those are the characters that you play in the game. It's kind of problematic because you're struggling to put in as much space as possible from your runs. So the stash there's a benefit from buying the game early on. However, if the money is a problem, you can always gain it just by playing the game. And but it's in no way is it a pay to win game. You have the same capability of killing anyone with any weapon at any time. No, I agree with you. There's no weapon purchases, nothing like that would enhance your.
I agree with you.
Your gameplay skill at all.
Yeah, your Tarkov is very skill based, and I agree with you that that buying the Edge of Darkness will definitely not give you an overall advantage. Most people who play the game, if you just get good, you will get better gear, and for the most part, you don't really need a big stash to get good gear. I think that the issue here is just the fact that it just gives you a comfortable advantage. It's like a comfort advantage. It's like I can keep more weapons than you, you know. However, and I'm going to say this to kind of like support Lewis's position on this. There are weapon crates that once you level up high enough, they're just crates. They're like like when you see somebody like open up like a metal box and it has like a gun in it and foam. There are crates, but the mechanic that they play in the game is that you can add multiple guns into these crates, and it doesn't affect the amount of guns you can hold in your stash. So you can effectively have a crate that's, let's say, 2x6, right? And then put in like guns that would have taken up maybe, I don't know, like 10 rows, right? So that's good. And I think that kind of circumvents the issue of paying to win, because if you can do that, then there's really no pay to win. It's just, you got to play better or pay to kind of like skip the line for this moment. But you're right. Eventually people will be able to level up and kind of increase their stash size. And at the moment you can't buy a gamma container in game. It's just very, very far into the game. You need to like level up vendors and stuff like that. One last gripe I have with the game. Obviously you're not gonna hear me complain about any of the lag or anything like that. It's a beta. They're constantly improving the game. There is some lag. I think people online have reported up to 200 latency, which is substantial. But it's in beta. You know, like you really can't. I would love the game to be fully optimized, but you know, you can't really expect too much when a game is it's in development right now. You know, they're still adding content. It's an unfinished product still. It's an unfinished product. Yeah. So I can't really just be like, oh my God. Things to keep in mind with this lag. Lewis, it's happened to us. You will be shot in situations where you're like, that it took him like a shot to kill me, and I was like fully loaded. Why does this happen? It's just there's a latency issue. It's not a cheating issue. People aren't, I haven't heard any cheating at the moment. I've just heard of people, somebody out latency, someone has lower latency because of a server issue. And that's something that you have to deal with the game. I'm sure I've got the upper hand on other people, either from a mix of skill and latency issues too. So it's not, it's kind of like a give and take. My real gripe with the game is, and I think Devil Dog Gamer kind of like touched up on this, and I'm glad that he brought up, because he has obviously a much bigger following on YouTube, so he can kind of like let this be known to Battle State. And what it is that these guns have collision on them. So when you walk up to a wall, the gun leans upward, kind of like if you're leaning up against the wall, and that's cool. It looks awesome when you're gonna lean out of the wall to like shoot. It looks really cool. The problem is that the mechanics also apply to when somebody walks up to you. And what this effectively does is it kind of negates your ability to shoot them. So if somebody runs up to you, right, and you're about to shoot, the animation for lifting your gun up takes priority. So you're probably thinking, dude, like, so, the person runs up to you, like the gun moves. That's kind of very, it's realistic. Yes and no. Because the way the gun moves, it's a little more like he's running up to something that's less threatening than somebody with another gun. It would make more sense that you would be able to like at least position the gun in a way where it's still obstructed, but you're firing. Like
not
you can still
that,
fire.
they can just add like a hit button. Like you can actually hit with the gun.
Yes,
you can't do that.
Yeah, like a butt. Yeah, hit with a butt stock.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Hit with the stock.
Yeah.
They can easily include that.
Yeah, they could absolutely.
Like
melee.
It's still in beta.
Yeah.
I mean, they still have a lot of features to add.
Yeah.
We only have one primary character for the USEC, one primary character.
I
for
know,
the
man.
Bears.
And we keep on seeing the same guy, and we're like, oh my God. And he looks so Russian
Star
too.
Wars: The Clone Wars. We have the same.
Yeah,
player.
I know, man.
It's
like Jango Fett everywhere. Except he doesn't look like Jango Fett. We supposedly have it's supposed to be a USEC model. So there's two factions. It's the USEC and the Bears, and the Bears are supposed to be like Russian, and the USEC, I guess, more Western, like they're more on the West side. So America, like whatever, United States. And the USEC just looks really Russian to me. You just like, I look at him, I'm like, you don't really look that like, you don't look that America, You know,
No.
you look more like you're ready to
Not
like.
at all. Nope.
Yeah, you look like you're ready to douse down some vodka. You know, which is, I mean, I get it. These developers, it's a Russian based development, so I get like, you know, maybe they're just sticking with one model for now, but like, you know, maybe something to think about. You know, give us different models. You know, I would like a guy. They have different models with like people wearing beards and stuff, and I'm like, damn, I want to wear a beard. You know, like I want to have a beard in the game.
Yeah, like in the artwork while you're waiting for the game
Yeah.
to load.
And they look
there's
really
a guy
cool.
with a beard, and like, where's that guy in the game?
And my guy just looks like a really bad Pitbull version, you know, like,
Dale,
how many times
305.
when we go scav, like how many times are we just like, yeah, Pitbull, because he's bald and he's
I'm
like,
Pitbull, and I have the pistol with the flashlight.
yeah. So that's probably my the model system definitely needs an improvement. At least just change it up. They did upgrade some of the sound, the sprites. You know, that's pretty cool. So the sound clips, some. I think they upgraded the way that the directional sound works. So if you hear things clearer when they're on the same floor as you, so on the same vertical, the same horizontal. Yeah. And then if it's vertical, you'll hear it a little muddier to kind of give you a sense of where the sound's coming from. So that's pretty cool. But honestly, like, man, the game, the gun mechanics, like, dude, I mean, awesome. I mean, you could
spot on.
You could change. So
they even said that the developers are thinking of like actually like having the gun jam on you. I don't know that's happened to you.
Well, there's
also
so if
the gun can explode on you from overheating.
Yeah, from overheating, from bad maintenance. I've seen there's animation on YouTube. So there's actual animation on YouTube, right? Mm-hmm. Of the devs working on it's a video of the devs working on an animation where you see the model character firing the weapon and then a bullet chambering, right? Mm-hmm. And then them taking it out by opening up the chamber.
Got jammed.
It got jammed. Yeah.
Now,
so that's pretty cool.
That's something that's gonna leave a bit of a bad taste in a lot of players' mouth, because that's a lot of time and focus on the game, because this game is definitely a mature game. This is not. Yeah. I'm not saying mature that you have to be 17 or 18 to play it, but you have to be in the mature mentality and be like, this is not a just going in and play a quick play match. This is a D&D type of like preparation game that you have to make sure you're ready, locked and loaded for whatever mission objective you're gonna do, and make sure you're maintaining your weapons as if it was a real in a war scenario. So it takes a lot of time out, and you have to know what you're going into this game. I was in a match, right? And I was reloading. So you know how most people do this. They carry like singular bullets, like just bullets alone. And every time you reload, you reload the mag that's empty with the bullets you have. And I wanted to test this out, because every time you reload, right? So let's say you spend an entire magazine and you reload a fresh one, right? Every time you reload, he chambers a bullet. So, you reload, put the magazine in, he pulls it, and he chambers. What I wanted to know was, does that bullet stay there if I were to reload into an empty mag, right? So does that bullet stay in the chamber, right? Yeah, if I only one bullet in the gun.
Yeah, if I remove
the magazine away.
Yeah, if I remove a full magazine and I put in an empty magazine, and dude, I put in the empty magazine, and that thing fired one bullet. I was like, wow, that is detail. Yep. That's they knew the exact mechanic of the way the gun was chambering the bullet. So that means that every bullet, dude, you don't have no idea how many games I play where you're playing with like those LMGs that have the strip of ammo going straight, so like like an M60, let's say, you can see the strip of ammo going into the chamber, right? Mm-hmm. When you see that, right, you'll actually, like, if you count down the rounds that you're firing, right, in those games, you'll still see bullets in the magazine when it says 0. Like there's still bullets in the belt when you look at it. It says, you're like, what? Yeah. And this game just takes it to a whole new level. And I think that's fantastic. One last thing I wanted to bring up before we just close up this episode, and that is,
actually, I want to say two things that I wanted to see if they can add.
And I'll close up with my thought.
Oh no, finish what you're saying. But I'm gonna
the bullets, the bullets, right? You know that there are different style of bullets for even the same caliber weapon. So you can have
and magazines,
ricochet bullets and magazines. Absolutely. So you have different magazines, you have different bullets. One main bullet difference is that you can get tracer rounds. I was able to level up, I think, Rapport, and he finally sells tracer rounds. And the cool thing about this is that you can actually insert the bullets into the magazine one by one. Okay, so if you hit control when you're transferring bullets, it allows you to choose how many bullets you want to transfer into the magazine. So what you can effectively do is do what a lot of people in the military do, and that is put a tracer round every 5th round you put into your magazine. And what that effectively does, that when you're firing the bullets, a tracer round ignites and you can see it when you fire. It's like a bolt of lightning when it fires. You can see it. It's like a hey, letting you know that you just spent 5 rounds, because this game will not tell you how many rounds you spend. So every time you fire a 5th round, it says you have 30 rounds in your magazine. Every 5th round, you'll see it fire. Like, you'll see the bullet like glow as it goes away. And that's an excellent system, and it works in this game. You can actually do it. You can do that. You can either make your last 10 rounds be tracer. So when you start seeing the tracer, you're like, oh shit, I'm on the last part of my my mag. So that's really cool stuff. Yeah.
No, it's definitely realistic, and just the fact alone that you do have the different pieces and parts for these weapons is just like it's mind-blowing and time-consuming. It's just like, whoa, there's so much that you have to know about the game over time, and it's just, you're not going to know what to do from the get-go. You're not going to know what to do.
Absolutely not.
You have to spend time with it and learn the ropes. Just wanted to say the 2 things I wanted to say about in regards to gripes with the game, not so much. I think the game is good. They're doing great with what they're doing so far. But I just would like to see these 2 things implemented, and I kind of sound like I'm going to be not dumbing down the game a little bit, but just like practice purposes, I just want to see a shooting range of option, test out each gun. There's so many guns out there in the game, and I would like to see how like bullets work. Like how not bullets how they work, but like how the gun works, and be able to fidget around with it and be able to shoot targets like from far away, be able to see how I would shoot in a scenario of that situation, and see like how hard the recoil will be on a gun, like how effective would it be. Like, that'll be a pretty cool thing that I hope they had in the game. Because let's face it, a lot of people will not be able to pick up a lot of these guns until they play this game for a long time. Secondly, it's a bit controversial, but I would like them to add a kill cam, and the kill cam should. That's going to be a tough one. But the kill cam should be implemented only in single player, because if it could be an issue if you have 2 people and the kill cam comes up, and then the person could be like, "Hey, by the way, the guy that shot me is here and over. He could be over there."
So you're saying if you're not in a group of people,
no,
it should be
like. If it's in single, you have the option to have a death cam, and the death cam should show you kind of like how PUBG's death cam is. For people that don't know, it's a pretty lengthy kill cam. It lasts like a good minute. Yeah. And you're able to see almost everything that happens before you die. And that's good, because I just want to see how it's a learning it allows you to see what you did wrong and how the guy was actually managed to kill you in the way he did, because then people will be like, no, this game is bullshit. And no, it's the kill cam is there to see like how you died, like just and how you would play out that scenario next time. Yeah. And how the guy shot. Did he shoot a little bit high? That whole thing would be a good learning aspect to the game.
Yeah,
but do not have it in squads. That cannot.
Yeah, I think a kill cam would be helpful, especially to kind of learn. Because I know that my biggest thing, like especially with PUBG, is like, how did he do it? What did he do? What did I do wrong? And it definitely helps. It's a learning experience, and it helps you learn. I agree with having a kill cam for solo. I can see how that with a group, it could lead to the disadvantage of the person trying to like scope and hide. Because you're pretty much if you kill somebody, you let everybody else know in that group, hey, I know where they killed me. Maybe if anything, I know that this is a little too far off into the future because like I know that that's not their intent, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to hate this, but maybe have like different modes. Maybe have a casual mode and a ranked mode, with the casual mode being almost kind of like the scav mode, because they do plan on removing scav eventually, by the way. So scav is just
Really?
yeah.
What are they gonna do?
I'm not sure, but I've heard either the scav. I know for sure offline's going away. Offline is going away for sure, 100%.
That's training mode basically.
No, so what they're going to do is they're going to replace it with something called the hideout, where you'll be able to increase your stash. You'll be able to go into a firing range, stuff like that.
Oh,
so your firing range is definitely in the chopping block. Yeah, it's in the works. And the hideout is also something that's in the works. That's part of that. Yeah, I definitely think that the game. I know people are talking about like including it in some sort of like esports type thing, and I'm not into that. But I can definitely see if like a kill cam could alter the style of the game for people who are in groups. Solo player, I don't see it being a big deal because you can't go back in. Like you're done.
For esports, it'd be very difficult because it's super RNG. Super RNG. And I know Battle Royale games are RNG too, but at least when you go into the map, you know where loot is going to be. You know, like the general areas of where you might get a gun super fast and, be able to pick off the enemies near you. But in this one, it could be that someone spawns on one side of the map and there's a scav right next to them and they easily kill that scav and he's good to go to kill the player who's on the other side of the map still looking for another scav to kill with a hatchet.
Yeah.
So I don't know how that will play out. Or they can have a mode that everyone's already decked out and they go at it, which should be fair. Like everyone's has a standard weapon set to go in and kill, which I'll be okay with. So if they do it that way, that'll be fine. Yeah. Like,
one last thing before we close off, because I don't want to keep this episode too long, because then people are going to be like, it's too long. The TOS, dude. TOS, one of the best guns in the game. Luis, I know you love that gun so much, and I know I love it so much too.
No,
it is.
I don't.
You can fire about 6 rounds to somebody and maybe tickle them. So it's, for those of you guys who don't know, it's just keep in mind if you do jump into Escape from Tarkov, be wary of that. It's a TOS. It's a bolt action. It's like a bolt loaded shotgun. So it goes in through you have a magazine load in, but it fires like 2 rounds.
Bullets.
Two bullets. If you could upgrade to a 4-round magazine, which is useless because the gun still sucks. But yeah, just keep that in mind. Luis, any last things before we close up episode 49?
Nope. Just can't wait for the 50th episode for the anniversary for the.
It's going to be an excellent episode. I really can't tell you guys what to expect. We're still like in the process of figuring out what we're going to do. We usually have an ABG episode, but I want to switch it up. It is our 50th episode. Technically speaking, I'm considering this our 1-year anniversary, even though it did pass about a week ago. So happy birthday to us, Hung Jury. 1-year anniversary was March 5th. We're recording this March 16th, so we're slightly a little bit late, but hey, I don't think the podcast is going to hate us for this. So we're still going to figure out what we're going to do for our episode 50, our 1-year anniversary. Let's see if we can get some old voices in. I know I'm going to try and get Kevin back in here, and then we'll try and get other voices back in just to kind of like, freshen it up a little bit for that 50th episode. But Luis, I think 51st episode we'll be back probably with full, again, Sea of Thieves episodes, since it'll be the first episode after the release, and we'll just be discussing.
We're not going to be done with that game for a while.
Oh no, by no means. That game is going to be a good long time before we actually finish anything.
Well, to the other 100, to the other anniversary.
So our 51st episode will probably be our reaction episode on the release of Sea of Thieves and the full content. So let's stay aware of that. All right, guys, as the jury, you will now be tasked to deliberate on what we just spoke about. Go to www.hungjurynetwork.com. Dude, there's a tab right there called Weekly Deliberation. There, all you have to do is click one answer to one question and then click submit. The question this week will most likely be if you are planning or do you play Escape from Tarkov. So just go right there, answer your results, and obviously, next week, even though it is our 50th anniversary, we will most definitely be releasing the verdict, the results, and we'll have a small little discussion based around that. Please remember that we upload every Monday. Timing depends on the weather. Make sure to check us out at our website, www.hungjurynetwork.com. Search us up on iTunes, Google Play Music, Podbean, Stitcher, and other affiliate podcast services as Hungry Gaming Podcast. This conversation goes both ways, so send us your thoughts. Join the jury by tweeting your comments to @Hungry Gaming Podcast and join the Facebook page. As always, guys, thank you for listening. It's been awesome, and we'll catch you guys next week. Bye.
Bye, everyone.